The last kind of structure I would like to talk about is called the network structure. So let's imagine a cluster of companies. So the cluster. How can this cluster look like? Let's imagine some company that is making some sport clothing. So it was originally made in Norway. So let's say the headquarters. So headquarters will be in Norway. Norway. And now they decide, okay, well, maybe there is some company in China that can manufacture the products for a really cheap price. So manufacturing will be done in China. China. And let's say we want to have some great marketers, and we have seen them in New York. So we will have our marketing department, marketing in New York. New York. And finally, our shipping may be done with some Spanish company. So shipping in Spain. In Spain. And this is quite boundaryless. You can see that we really create some sense of a network. And what does it mean for our product or for our company? It means that the value creation, so value creation was originally inside, so was inside the company, and now we are moving it outside. Now outside. So imagine these as a separate companies. So this is company, this is our original company, and usually there is one in this sense of network. There is one company that is some sense of a leader. So let's say this is a leader of a network because he has got the idea, and maybe let's say he has got the patents. So patents. And these are other companies. This is company number 1, 2, and 3. So originally we were inside of the company. All these functions were done inside of us, but now we are moving outside of our companies. There are also considerable advantages when we would like to adopt the network structure. The first is that if we can find the partner who is able to produce or do the job reliably, plus he is able to do it in low cost, we can save a lot of capital. So savings. The another advantage that is maybe even more important is now in nowadays world is high responsiveness to market. So high responsiveness to market changes or to market shifts. Because let's imagine that now the demand will rise considerably in China, so we will simply rise our manufacturing in China, and we will maybe hire another company in China who will be in charge of marketing. So that's why we are very flexible, and we are also flexible in another sense of advantage, and that is the change, so that we can change or shift to new partners quite easily. Probably we have some kind of agreements, but we can shift much easier than if we would have some department inside of us where there we would employ 100 marketers. That would be much harder than simply to close down the agreements and find a new company. But of course, there is important disadvantage, and it's the basic idea that the value creation is moved outside. So maybe the new companies which are in charge of these parts of our product will not have that much motivation or will not follow the same value as we are doing. So the value creation will be shifted or moved the way that is not really desirable for us. So this was the network structure. What is important to remember is that it is a cluster of companies. There is always one leader who can maybe hold the patents, and we are moving the value creation from inside the company outside. And the advantages which are there are obviously the reliability plus low cost. We can do a lot of savings in sense of capital, and we have much higher responsiveness to the market. Plus, we can change our partners or the co-producers very easily. So hopefully see you in next video.